Here we are, folks. The top 40 timeline video show of the week. Of course, we have a radio show, and we'll talk about that in a moment. That's heard on many stations around the world, and we talk about rock and roll music, and we talk about funny stories and whatever comes up in conversation.
Exactly.
You might hear the odd blue word, mostly from Lee Lakin, who has his very own soapbox under the table here. And by the way, this is an actual table from the Choir Boys, I believe, in the restaurant scene where the guy gets blown away.
Is that what that red, that dark brown reddish
That's why I had to say it.
spot? Oh, okay.
But we can order food here, which is nice. Mostly Italian food, though. So we'll be getting into that later on. And we're brought to you this week by UK National Radio. They are an independent commercial radio station run by a private limited company, and they run the Top 40 timeline every Saturday UK time at 5 p.m., which is noon Eastern and 9 a.m. Pacific. You got to remember, when you're dealing with the world, it's different time zones.
Big difference in time zones, too.
UK National Radio's music theme is the greatest memories of the latest hits over the last 8 decades, and UK National Radio is broadcasting a mixture of presenters and music-only shows. Some fantastic radio shows on the station, including Emperor Roscoe and so many others. And you can join our Top 40 timeline as well. And if you want to contact them, I'd like to say hi to Nigel Crane, who's the owner of the radio station. And you can contact him at the studio at uknationalradio.com for more information, or just go to their website. Just punch in UK National Radio, and it's right across the UK. So, and it's, the wonderful thing, if people say radio is dead nowadays, radio is just morphing into online, and it's a totally different. Podcasting and radio, really, in my opinion, is the same damn thing.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Only you can go to it anytime you want.
Yeah.
It's a radio, it's a talk show, basically. And people that are, and thank God AM radios are going into Ford products. But for the grace of God go I for AM radio. Soon it's coming, but they've dodged the bullet with Ford. They were going to take all the AM radios out.
Yeah.
They were going to, that's it, we're done with you. How can you turn your back on such a tradition of the car, the motor car and radio go together?
That's just the way that society's going, though, is they
Aggression.
turn their back on everything, right? And
It's the horse and cart, though.
Look at the kids today with the no respect and the attitudes and the entitlement attitudes and shit. It just drives me crazy with these changes that they want to make to something that was there for us and is a big important part of our lives in a lot of ways. AM radio, we all, that's how we started.
That's how we all. That's where I came from. That's where I was born, on AM radio, and that's where many of us were born. But radio is morphing into radio stations like the ones we own and National Radio UK, each serving its own niche of people. But there are more radio stations now, which is, for the listener, is a bonus, because you've got so much to choose from.
God, yeah.
We have a meme this week, and this comes from Malcolm in Minneapolis, and he says, "Arguing with idiots is like playing chess with a pigeon. No matter how good you are, the bird is going to shit on the board and strut around like it won anyway."
Exactly.
Or a parrot. Pearl would do that too.
Yeah.
I love, and of course, the memes are a big part of our show because we have so much fun with them on the air. And
and of course, stories like this one too.
The runaway pig. I saved this story for Lee.
Yes. Well, when there's a pig on the loose, the Green Bay Police Department is on the job. The Wisconsin Force got an unusual report on May 15th after hearing about a 300-pound pot-bellied pig named Albert, and he was on the loose and starting to make some trouble in the neighborhood. So according to the post on Facebook page, Albert saw an opportunity to explore the city when his fence gate was accidentally left open. Officers who stumbled upon Albert believed he looked a little bit lost, and Green Bay cops went door to door in an effort to find the pig's owner. Upon questioning Albert about where he lived, the cop said his snout wasn't pointing him in the right direction. A resident of the neighborhood was able to locate Albert's owner and used fruit snacks to lure the piggy back home successfully. And those worried about Albert can rest assured, as the pig who lost his way and is now fast asleep and snoring in his hay sleepy bed And police said this in a post on Facebook. So
This kind of sounds like me with candies and you guys.
In a way.
Just saying.
In a way.
Snacks and
Kind of,
And, by the way, we're brought to you by the Canadian Diabetes Society and Gummies Jelly Beans. Who makes these, anyway? Jelly Belly.
Jelly Belly.
Jelly Belly.
Something
We're
a little
becoming
different.
connoisseurs of
I
candies.
used to call my niece Kelly Belly.
Kelly
She
Belly.
was young, and I did it one time, and she's like 30 now, and she just looked at me, glaringly at me. Uncle Lee, don't ever call me that again.
Sounds like the exact same situation. The only difference was I called him Doodlebug, and then Brody got to a certain age and looked at me and went, "Do you mind?"
Yeah.
Hey.
It's time for Leah's Trivia, and who better to kick off Leah's Trivia than Leah? What's going
I
on?
have so much fun finding this stuff.
I know, and Leah, by the way, this is all her stuff. She finds it up. She looks it up on the internet, and it's time-consuming.
Very much so.
I love it, though. It's a passion. Love my music and love the history. Love it all. So we'll start off with a little bit of a tidbit about Courtney Love. Courtney Love was quoted, "Rock is really about dick and testosterone. I go and see a band and I want to fuck the guy. That's the way it is. It's always been that way." No, Courtney wouldn't do that. Come on, that's got to be made up.
Like I'd take any advice from her at all. At all.
Yeah, she's speaking from her own type of female perspective, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Hers alone, and I'm sure there's a few that might agree, but I think I'll step back on that one.
When you're a groupie, that's what happens.
Well, that's it. Now, how do you think she got Kurt Cobain?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Kurt Cobain played drums with the Sellouts, Creedence Clearwater Revival covers band.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Who's doing the history? Lee?
Sure. We'll do a little bit of history today. In 1958, our good buddy Alan Freed, who popularized R&B music by playing it for white audiences, moves from Winds in New York to WABC. Freed put on a lot of concerts featuring the artists played, and Winds had suspended him over a show in Boston where a riot broke out.
A lot of controversy over that one,
that was
too.
a big one, yeah. I'll do another one here. 2003, a painting of Kylie Minogue.
Yeah.
Wearing gold hot pants caused tempers to fray among drivers in Brighton. Artist Simon Etheridge put up the almost life-size picture in his own art asylum gallery as part of a festival, and since the motorists had caused regular traffic holdups, they stopped to take a second look.
Well, yeah, Kylie Minogue in gold hot pants. I mean, who could ask for more in life? You know what I mean?
A life-size painting, no less.
Exactly.
2005, Franz Ferdinand's frontman, Alex Kapranos, was detained by Russian police after being suspected of being a spy. Kapranos was attempting to board a plane in Moscow when the altercation took place. Traveling under his actual surname, Huntley, Alex was accused of being an M16 agent who was previously suspected of stealing information on Russian weaponry. Unlucky for Alex, I guess, that the surname Huntley was also used by the actual former M16 agent Richard Tomlinson, who did steal secrets in the early 90s. The singer was freed after he pointed out that Huntley, they were so concerned about, was 42, 13 years older than he was.
To be a musician.
Yeah.
Even Lennon had the FBI up his butt, and then this guy didn't have any
being
connection to this. And
bad enough being in Russia, anyway. You don't want to be pissing them off at the same time. No. I'll do one more. 2010, after being awarded the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Song, Paul McCartney sings Michelle to First Lady Michelle Obama at a White House performance. Somehow that one, I missed that one completely.
He was actually even teary-eyed. He was very nervous.
I guess so.
Of getting up before them to sing. It often was mentioned that he literally was like teary-eyed because he was so nervous to get up there and do this in front of Obama. So, kind of an interesting thing. So, okay, music industry takes a stand against racism on Blackout Tuesday. So today is known as the Show Must Be Paused.
Right.
The music industry recognizes Blackout Tuesday in response to the killing of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer. Using the hashtag, the show must be paused, many record labels and artists cease operations, while broadcasters and streaming services change their programming in support of efforts to address racism and injustice on a wide scale, and more specifically to end police brutality against African Americans.
I just think police brutality in general is a problem.
Well, it is a problem with them, though. That's a
but
fact.
It kills me that
I
George
wanna do the
Floyd
next one.
case, like those police that got charged and sent to jail, they're getting their ass kicked.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You're a cop in jail?
Oh well.
I don't think
That
they
should
would be
never
allowed.
happen.
Exactly.
They have to have
deserve-
them in another area.
They
of the
deserve.
prison.
They
Yeah,
deserve it. I will say, yeah, put them in jail. Let them get their ass kicked. They deserve
I thought they were
everything
going to
they
get
got.
off because half the time they
I
get
know.
off with this stuff. So
I know.
that they made an example, if that's it,
Absolutely.
and it needed to be done.
Oh,
I'm gonna
absolutely.
just do the
it
next
did.
one too.
Absolutely, it did.
So here's one of my favorites. Muscle Shoals Sound Studios added to the National Historic Register. In recognition of its place in music history, the Music Shoals Sound Studios building
Muscle
in
shoals.
Sheffield.
Muscle shoals.
Yeah.
Not the music shoals.
Muscle
You said the music
Muscle
shoals.
shoals.
First time she said it right. Second time you said the music show.
Oh, did I? Okay, well, I
Muscle
stand to be
shoals.
corrected.
It's in
The
Alabama.
Muscle Shoals, I'm tired, this heat's
I know,
crazy.
I know.
The Muscle Shoals Sound Studios building in Sheffield, Alabama, don't touch me, is named to the National Historic Register.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
Crazy, man, they're crazy. See what I put up with?
We're picking on her, aren't we?
The small stone building at 3614 Jackson Highway attracted an array of legendary musicians after the studio's founding in 1969, including the staple singers, oh good lord, Paul Simon, Bob Seger, and the Rolling Stones. Muscle Shoals is one of the 4 small towns that sits near the Tennessee River in northwest Alabama. Alabama. The area's music roots are deep. It is the birthplace of W.C. Handy, largely considered the father of the blues, and Sam Phillips, the founder of Sun Records. The bluesy, swampy fusion of rock and roll and R&B indigenous to the area is very distinct. Bono, lead singer of U2, says the Muscle Shoals brand of music sounds as if it comes out of the mud. So, what's the song that talks about Muscle Shoals?
You got me.
Can't think of it.
You got me.
Skinnerd?
Oh, Holmes.
Muscle Shoals it's got the Swampers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It's about
Yeah.
this.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
no,
about this.
I when I was traveling down there, I even went by there. It's pretty cool.
I love
Very
the. I
historic
love the.
spot.
Yeah, it's just a plain
Yeah.
rectangular brick building.
Yep.
I
There's
love.
nothing
I
to
love
really
the
see
Alabama accent. Just love it. Just so nice. Know what I mean? So nice down there when they're talking. They're talking
And it's slow.
like this.
It's not.
Oh,
And they're so
slow.
gentle when they talk, you know, like that. I think I'll go out and have some lemonade on the porch with Mama.
And make
I
sure
mean,
grandma,
love it.
make sure grandma got her grits and she's good and her collard greens and God, yeah, I loved it down
Well,
there.
if anybody wants to see a few of the photos, I own about 10 or 15 photos of the building, a little bit of the inside, and many of the artists that recorded in there. I had a lot of fun with that. So
What's
it's
going on
it's-
with Kurt Cobain lately?
Again, Mr. Cobain, he was given Ritalin at the age of 7 for his treatment to hyperactivity.
Wow.
And this guy needed a lot more than Ritalin. Elton John, Bernie Taupin wrote "Don't Go Breaking My Heart" under the
Pseudonyms.
Exactly.
Pseudonyms.
Ann Orson and Carte Blanche. There's an original one.
Oh, those two are. Elton's got a great sense of humor. I love Elton's sense of humor.
Isn't that the one he did with Kiki D?
Yeah.
Don't go breaking
Yeah,
my
singing,
heart.
yes, it is.
Summer
Yes,
of
it is.
1976. Never forget it.
1959, the
Me too.
music critique
Just
show
love that.
Jukebox Jury debuts on the BBC. Each week, 4 guest judges vote recent songs either a hit or a miss. Sorry. And the show lasts until 1967.
No, I've got myself lost now. I'm like 1968. Simon and Garfunkel's Mrs. Robinson hits #1 on the Hot 100. The song was written for the movie The Graduate and titled after the character played by Anne Bancroft. What a great movie. I love The Graduate.
Love playing that song. Tin Roof, we play that. I love playing that song.
What a great song as well. You know,
Good song.
1981, the first issue of the heavy metal magazine Kerrang is published as a special pullout by UK weekly music paper Sounds, with AC/DC on the front cover. And I'll do one more. Napster, a file sharing service in 1999 that lets users download songs for free, goes online. It shuts down in 2001. It wasn't around for long, with a raft of lawsuits, of course, but not before upending the music industry and changing it totally, which sees a steep decline in the sales
I
of
thought
CDs.
it was cool. As
Well,
a person who...
I got so excited the first time I ever downloaded from Napster because it said the song and it said it was coming up in a couple of hours.
Yeah, like it was
Yeah,
just-
exactly.
You know,
and that was it, too.
like
It took
11th
forever.
in line, and people are downloading this song so slowly.
Depending on your system, of course, but I think most people had the same issue when this
Do you
started
remember
out.
when we used to have to dial up the computer and have that
God, yeah.
at the beginning? Everybody would know, oh, you're on the internet again.
Between that and the fax machine noise, it's just, oh,
God, we've come such a long way in streaming and stuff, haven't we? When you think about it.
God, yeah.
Okay, 2007. Contemporary musicians record their own versions of songs from the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's album to mark 40 years since it was released. This is another really cool story. Acts including Oasis, Travis, The Fray, Kaiser Chiefs, Razorlight, Bryan Adams, and the Magic Numbers all work with Jeff Emmerich,
Great
the engineer in charge of the original 1967 sessions with the Beatles, using the original analog 4-track equipment to demonstrate the techniques employed for the recording at Abbey Road Studios in 1967. And I've included the video because that's an hour-long video of them actually redoing.
Right.
And it's funny. You think it sounds like their songs sound easy to play.
Oh, no. They're
And
not.
but people that don't realize, you watch this and you'll see these pro musicians, and they do an awesome job, though,
Yeah.
I will say. 2017, thanks to the song by Eminem, the word "stan" is added to the Oxford American Dictionary, defined as an overzealous or obsessive fan of a particular celebrity.
Is that what
Yeah.
Stan is?
Yeah.
Yep.
Really?
That's, he did the song, yeah.
God, we lost on that.
When living in Australia during the early 1960s, I didn't know this, the Bee Gees had their own TV show.
Yeah, they were big in Australia. They were
Big.
And you have to remember when the Bee Gees first started, they were a pop act. They
Yeah.
were pop songs.
Yeah. Well, they were really kind of the first boy band,
Yeah.
really, in a lot of ways.
One of them, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
one of the very first ones that really went international, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Another little tidbit here, an American singer-songwriter, Johnny Nash, is best known for his 72 hit, I Can See Clearly Now, the Rain Is Gone. Primarily a reggae and pop singer, he was one of the first non-Jamaican artists to record a reggae music in Kingston. So.
I love Johnny Nash.
Oh, yeah.
1956, Buddy Holly sees the John Wayne film The Searchers, and John's line, "That'll be the day," inspired him to write the song. And there's the title. That'll be. See? Now, I didn't know that either.
No,
I
I
had
didn't
no idea, and I've been playing That'll Be the Day since 1972 on the radio. I didn't know that. 1976, The Who set the record for world's loudest rock band when their show in London, when they played at Charlton Athletic Football Ground, which measures 126 decibels. Oh my God. Concerned about hearing loss, Guinness later stopped certifying the record.
Yeah.
I guess you would. A little bit of ringing in the ears. Oh yeah, just a tad. Just a little bit.
So, the theme from MASH, Suicide is Painless, by MASH, was at #1 on the UK singles chart 10 years after it was recorded, after being championed by BBC Radio 1 DJ Noel Edmonds. Mike Altman the son of the original film's director, Robert Altman, was only 14 years old when he composed the song's lyrics for
14.
that. He was 14.
Suicide is painless. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that the theme to MASH does have words.
Yeah.
to it.
Yep, and it does.
Yeah.
But of course they.
It's one of the
didn't fight
first
much, so.
songs I ever learned to play on saxophone.
Right.
Oh, I didn't even know you played saxophone before. That's
Played
I
cool.
high
play
school
sax
band.
too.
It's one of my-
I play
it's
a
one of
little
my
bit.
favorite
I play a little
instruments. I love
sax
them.
too. A little violin on the weekends. You know, I get in there. I do my stuff too.
So 1985, the Parents Music Resource Center, PMRC, sends its first letter to the RIAA requesting a ratings system for albums and concerts. The group is led by Tipper Gore, the wife of Senator Al Gore. So the record industry takes it seriously and cuts back on their metal projects, or metal budgets, sorry. The end result is warning stickers on albums containing offensive lyrics. And you used to see it after that. Remember that big black and white sticker on all of them?
Yeah.
Warning.
Warning.
Yeah.
Hey,
Warning.
so
you're
now
a
in,
wimp.
now
Don't
in
listen to
Canada,
metal
every
music.
cigarette will have a warning on it. Eh?
You
Yeah.
won't live if you will listen to this. Don't listen
Did
to
you hear
this.
that, world? Canada is the first to do this with the cigarettes now, with a warning
Oh, with
on
the warning
every
on the
cigarette.
cigarette. Yeah. Oh my
Sorry, I
God.
didn't mean to interrupt you there. You go ahead.
I saw that.
Because
I saw
nobody
that.
in this world knows that smoking is bad for you. So we all have to, like, how fucking stupid are we? Like, it's like putting hot on your coffee cup.
I don't smoke
It's
cigarettes.
coffee. It's hot. Why do you need to put hot? Because some dipshit poured it on his lap and
Do
sued
you
the
know?
company.
Do you know? It says on
Legalities,
on
right?
the outside of some pizza box somewhere in Canada. Please open box before consuming pizza.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm going to
Absolutely.
chew on the box
Yeah.
first.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding
That's what I
me?
say.
I'm serious.
I didn't know
How
that.
bloody stupid has society gotten that we've got to get to that level? Like, it is so demented that, come on, people, it's cold outside. Put a coat on.
It's as bad as living in Canada and thinking a bear's going to eat you. A black bear, sorry. I'll
Do you
rephrase
honestly
that.
think printing that on the cigarette is going to stop a person smoking?
Are they going to
No,
have that
not at
horrible
all.
picture on the cigarette too? Of the
Well, they did
person
all
with
that.
all the
Did that
gum?
work? No, it didn't work.
Oh,
Good.
rotten lungs and oh yeah.
Fuck, you can turn on cable TV or the internet now and see grosser stuff. So, like, come on, people, really wake up. Quit wasting money.
I'm not
people's
promoting
time.
cigarettes, but sometimes it helps with anxiety for people
For some
that have
people,
anxiety.
sure.
I used to smoke, so hey,
Yeah.
I get it.
And so do I. If you're ever a smoker, you will get it, and it never the sensation of wanting that cigarette never goes away.
No.
I control it with other substances like
Well, I
coffee.
don't do anything. I quit
caffeine.
and I'm done.
But
Yeah.
all right, where are we here?
2003, UK police announced that thousands of people at this year's pop festivals would be subjected to
I remember this.
computerized
Oh my
drug
God.
test. Fans would be asked to provide swab samples from their hands, which would be inserted to a drug detection machine. It was to be a voluntary test, but anti-drug officers could search anyone refusing, which again, bullshit. It's a violation of your rights. 2005, Strawberry Field, which is in the Liverpool orphanage where the inspired Beatles' famous song is closed by the Salvation Army after 70 years, almost 70 years.
So it was closed.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Because so many of those songs, Penny Lane is actually a place in Liverpool.
Yeah.
And, a lot of that Beatles trivia is fun too. In 2003, the contestants on American Idol were given a list of banned songs they couldn't sing. These include anything by Mariah Carey, Bruce Springsteen, No Doubt, R. Kelly, Tom Petty, Korn, and Linkin Park, after concerns over the cost of securing rights for the songsters or for the composers not wanting their songs to be performed on the show. Why wouldn't you want your song to be performed on the show? That's just being, see, ego, big thing, man, big thing.
Big time.
In 1983, Sting was quoted, "It would be false for me to be modest. I believe I'm a great singer and a great songwriter," and he certainly is. There was a video of him watching somebody butcher one of his songs. Did you
yeah.
see that? Oh, the pain in his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
God.
It's hard to watch that.
It is.
Even when I didn't write the song, just watch it.
Can you imagine somebody?
I agree.
Somebody butchering. Stop touching me.
You move it around.
Somebody butchering your own song is even worse. Stop touching me.
1909, Benny Goodman is born in Chicago. At just 12 years old, he begins performing professionally as a clarinetist. By 14, he joins the music union. He records his first solo in 1926, and by 1934, he is the leader of a 12-piece big band.
Epic guy.
Benny Goodman. Amazing.
Glenn Miller.
He was one of the generations that brought the radio generation to television.
Yeah.
You know, and
Benny Goodman. I remember listening about him when I was young.
And the people he had on his show and musicians he had on his show were just amazing. Like.
During World War II, Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller, they were the Justin Bieber of the youth.
Yeah.
They were the songs that were cool, kids listened to. And really, the older you get, the more you appreciate that older stuff. And really,
I agree.
I'll listen to big band in the car sometimes just to get away from the it's
the noise.
It's wonderful
so
music. And Sinatra, another one of my favorites.
There's songs now that my mom would listen to back in the 50s.
Nat
so when
Cole.
I was a kid, it was like, oh, Mom, come on, listen to something. Now, I'll have the radio on or our FM 108, and what do? I'm listening to the 50s, 60s, 70s, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly because I got so many memories.
And plus, don't forget, you get your news, weather, and sports at the same time.
There you go.
Bada boom, bada bing, got a plug in there.
Bing, baby.
1955, Topper Headon, drummer for The Clash, is born Nicholas Bowen Headon in Bromley, Kent, England. Tomato. His nickname comes from the comic Topper because he looks like the character Mickey the Monkey.
There you go. See the things you learn on this show?
It's almost like Snoop Dogg looking like Snoopy.
Yes, and he does look like Snoopy. And even his mom thinks that.
Well, she's the one that gave him the name.
She's the one that named him.
All right, 1987, David Bowie kicked off his 87-date Glass Spider World Tour at the Feyenoord Stadium in Rotterdam, Holland. The tour set described as the largest touring set ever and was designed to look like a giant spider. It was 60 feet or 18.3 meters high, 64 feet or 19.5 meters wide, and included a giant vacuumed tube legs that were lit from within the inside with 20,000 color-changing lights. The single set took 43 trucks to move.
Can you imagine?
Imagine being a
And
roadie
we're not
and
talking
working.
little vans.
Yeah. Oh no. You're talking truck convoys.
Oh yeah.
Imagine being a roadie for
Boy's
David
alive.
Bowie. 2009, Mick Jagger is offered to buy an ice cream van, but was turned down by its owner, who'd promised his daughter he would drive her to the wedding. Giuseppe, what is that? Della Camera, had spent 10 years restoring the rusting van to perfection after he spotted it on a farm, being used as a chicken shed. The restoration was such a success, Sir Mick offered to buy the vehicle when he saw it at a show at the Wandsworth Common. Camera said, Jagger told me he'd really fallen in love with my van and asked me if he would consider selling it. I was stunned when he offered me £100,000. And in 2015, I remember this, Enrique Iglesias sliced his fingers open when he tried to grab a drone camera, which was taking pictures of the audience at a concert in Tijuana, Mexico. And he was kind of semi-treated at the side of the stage to stop bleeding and was advised to end the show. He almost could have died from that.
Oh, it's like Dave Grohl falling off the stage, breaking his leg in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
Goes off stage, they cast him up, wheel him back out on stage, and he finishes the friggin' show.
It's the same as
Now
Gump
that's
Worsley.
commitment.
That's it. He must have been a hockey player in another life.
Gump Worsley, the old Montreal goalie, he'd take one off the back of the head.
Yeah.
He'd go in, have an IPA, couple of stitches, he'd be back out in the third period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You do that to an NBA player or a soccer player, they'd be dead.
They'd be dead.
They'd want to retire.
Yeah.
You know. The thing I can't understand about hockey is why did it take them so long to figure out I should put on a mask here?
Yeah.
You know, all these craters in Johnny Bower's face. And I was right up next to him checking him out.
Yeah.
When I met him. Unreal. Anyway, wandering again. Go ahead.
1977, Led Zeppelin drummer John Bonham and group manager Peter Grant were charged with assault after a fight broke out backstage during a U.S. concert with employees of the promoter. And also Elton John once auditioned for the prog rock bands King Crimson and Gentle Giant, and he was rejected with both.
Imagine that, eh?
I didn't know
imagine?
that. I didn't know that.
I used to listen to King Crimson all the
yeah.
time. Oh, God, I loved them.
It's not.
Still do. Robert Fripp, you can't.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw Robert Fripp at the U of T, sitting on the stage on a chair with his effects around him, and we actually sat and we had an hour and a half just asking him questions
Yeah.
about
Wow.
what he did and how he did different sounds. It was amazing.
How are we doing for time? Do you know? 30
All
minutes?
right, we got
No, we
a
got
few more minutes.
few more minutes here.
All right, 1942, Bing Crosby recorded White Christmas with the John Scott Trotter Orchestra and the Darby Singers. In under 20 minutes, the crooner made holiday magic. The music history first performed by Crosby in 1941 on his radio show, The Kraft Music Hall. White Christmas was written by Irving Berlin for the film Holiday Inn. Steeped in nostalgia, the secular tune resonated deeply with the American public and topped the single charts for 11 weeks, a spot it would return to several years in a row, by the way. In addition to inspiring new trend of pop-forward holiday hits, the song went on to win an Academy Award, spun a 1954 musical film of the same name, also starring Bing Crosby as well, and to sell more than 50 million copies worldwide, becoming the first best-selling physical single.
You know, it's one of those songs that you just, when you're in the radio business, you end up playing it every year.
White Christmas.
Stop touching me.
Just like the ones I used to know.
1965, the Beach Boys started a 2-week run at number 1 on the U.S. singles chart with Help Me Rhonda, a group's second number 1 U.S. hit. The recording session was interrupted by the Wilson brothers' drunken father, Murray, who arrived at the studio to criticize the boys' enthusiasm. The recording reel continued to record the confrontation, which still circulates among fans.
Click on that link and you'll hear it. If you haven't
Really?
already, that link I've got right there. It's up
Pardon
on the
me.
post. I had to do it because he actually didn't sound super drunk, but you criticizing the boys, oh, he was horrible.
I think that Johnny
Yeah,
Rivers'
Johnny.
version of "Help Me Rhonda" is better than the Beach Boys, but I did like the Beach Boys were first, right?
Yeah.
But there's not too
course.
many songs that were covered by other people that I prefer. But Johnny
Yeah.
Rivers did do a better version in the summer of '75. I remember Chum Radio, and back in the day, I used to play it.
Chummy, yeah.
I'll go
That's
to the
right.
next one.
I think you want me to do one more?
Might as well.
All right, I'll jump right in. 1967, The Move, Cream, The Jimi Hendrix Experience, Pink Floyd, Zoot Money, Geno Washington, and the Ram Jam Band all appeared at the Tulip Club Auction Hall in Spalding, Lincoln, England, of course. And Pink Floyd were only a support band and played in a corner of the shed, and a little white sheet behind them, colored oil shining onto it. Tickets cost $1.70 roughly, and the poster advertising the show promised a knockout atmosphere.
Can you imagine for a
imagine
buck
that?
70, all of them?
And Pink
Yeah,
Floyd
but
playing
back
in
then
the
they were,
corner.
You know, they were.
No, I know, but it's still, you look
Yeah.
back and you think, geez, you know, we would go to that locally to see local bands at
Yeah.
this age. So,
Yeah.
you know, you think, look at these guys and you go, wow, can you imagine?
I don't think we're going to have time for too much more, but you want to do a couple more?
I'll do a couple more.
Yeah, get these
And
next two out of the way.
Actually, and these two are from last week again. Dweezil Dharma.
Oh, did you guys do that last week?
1971, 36 fans are treated after drinking cider spiked with LSD at a Grateful Dead show at San Francisco's Winterland Ballroom. And that's not new, because if you ever read the Electric Kool-Aid acid test by the same author who wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, that's all they did.
Yeah.
Grateful Dead
surprise.
was the party band for all of them.
Yeah.
1999, photographers taking shots of old cars wrecked at the bottom of Malibu's Decker Canyon discover the body of Iron Butterfly bassist Philip Kramer, who had gone missing on February the 12th, 1995, and his death is ruled as a suicide.
Oh, Rock and roll and
this is last
suicide,
week.
man. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, it just takes all that all that glamour and all that glitz doesn't mean a damn thing.
No.
As long as you're
It's not all
Up
glamour
here.
and glitz. It's not all.
Oh, it isn't, no.
What musicians go through, and they're on the road, and it is hell.
It's what
It
we
is-
see on this side,
Exactly. You're only
not behind the
seeing
scenes.
the fame aspect of it. That's all you're seeing. You're not seeing the work and everything that goes and gets put into it. And it's a lot of these guys have roadies to set up their equipment and tear down the equipment, but you still got a lot of traveling to do. You're in your hotel room practicing 6 hours a day before you go on stage in front of 30,000 people.
I think Jackson Brown's song "Stay."
Oh,
it is.
isn't it?
It
It
is.
does give a good summation.
Because they really, once they get up there, they just want to be up there. They don't want to
Exactly. They
leave.
just want to play.
And
I
you know
don't
what?
want to leave. Let me want to do one more song.
No.
And you know what? I think the hardest part for those that are the roadies, they are a good base of the show.
Oh God, yeah.
Without
You know,
them,
the
there wouldn't be a
musicians are
show.
talented, but I'll tell you, those roadies,
They work their asses off, man. I'll
Better
tell you.
believe
Carrying
it.
those big
17
speakers
years
around.
old on the road
yeah.
with Leah, and so I know.
There you go.
it's brutal. The work that goes on behind the scenes, setting up, and if something doesn't work, God forbid.
Don't forget, we were brought to you by UK National Radio this week. Hello to all the gang over there that carry the Top 40 timeline every Saturday at 5 p.m. UK time. And we look forward to putting some more shows together for Nigel Crane and the gang over there. And we're going to, do we say something special at the end? What is it again?
Uniting
Uniting
community
community.
worldwide.
Worldwide. Here's Amanda, by the way.
Say hi to him, man.
There it is.
See, she's uniting with us.
Yes.
See?
Amanda.
It worked.
Amanda is, of course, on Halton Hills Online Radio, and she's going to be on the news this weekend, and big part of our family here.
And helping me pack.
That's right.
Lucky her.
Yes, yes, the gals are packing this weekend.
Have
Thank you.
yourself a great week. Everybody be safe out there, and we'll catch you on the B-side.
From our heart to yours. Have a great week.